Hello, Internet, and welcome to Comic Book Talks for the week of July 2nd, 2014. But today I'm doing things a bit different. I got two videos going up. First video is going to be of last week's comics, so those would be the books from June 25th, and then the second one is just the stuff from today. But I only picked up two books today. So in this first this first video I'll be talking about Uncanny Avengers number 21, Justice League number 31, and Miss Marvel number 5. And then in the second video I'll do I'll talk about Punisher number 8. And then I think I'll just give like a quick breakdown of the first three issues of Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales, because I only picked up those two things this week. Last week I had some other stuff, but I was kind of busy, which is why I didn't get around to getting the video done, but whatever. So let's get down to business, talk about Uncanny Avengers here. So Uncanny Avengers picks up right where the issue, basically where you have the, I think it was called the Rapture. That is basically where it picks up before that, before the Scarlet Witch can cast her spell. So you have Wolverine and the rest of the Unity team go back, Days of Future Past style, and then they're all, stopping the plot in motion that was to send all the mutants to Planet X, and then having the Celestial Executioner just come down and destroy the planet. So instead what happens is basically it's really interesting what they do, because you essentially see everything be undone that was done in that sequence. Kind of disappointing because it was so epic and so awesome, but it's like, well, I guess, the hero's got to save the day, so you can't have everybody die and the planet just explodes, so... So you have Rogue, who takes all the Avengers' powers into herself to stop one of the Celestial's foot, and then we cut to Ariel and Iman, and they're like, the plan's not going according to plan, like, what's going on? Something's wrong here. And they're like, oh, something's out of the loop on the time stream, something's happened. And so, and then you see Grim Reaper guarding the Tachyon Dam, which in the other timeline, the Wasp tried to take him down and then destroy it, but she couldn't. So this time, you see Havoc, Sunfire, and Wolverine walk up on him, and he's like, yeah, it's going down. And then you have Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and Rogue teleport into Jean Grey School, and they're like, yeah, and then Rogue's like, okay, I need the rest of you guys, or I need all the X-Men's powers, so let me have your powers, which is pretty cool, because Rogue has by the end of this, or not by the end of this, but by the time they have their plan going on, she has hundreds of heroes' powers in her, which is really cool. And she has this monologue about, back in the day I could only have 5 powers at once and I would struggle, but now I'm using everything that Professor Xavier taught me, and even though I'm kind of about to just blow up and die here, I gotta do it for him, for his dream and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, as the Apocalypse Twins' plan is being thwarted, Rogue goes into motion with the plan to stop the Executioner. So that happens, and then there's this cool part where she's like, I can't do it, and then she's like, well, let me just use a bit of the Hulk's power to get a bit wow, what was it called? She's like, yeah, let me get some gamma rays going on here, and she hulks up and starts to grow. That's pretty cool. And then let's see. So, and then while this is happening, Captain America and Iron Man are talking, and he's like, okay, well, this is going according to plan. And Iron Man's like, whose plan are you using? And he's being very coy about it. And Iron Man's like, you're being coy. You don't do coy. What's going on here? And then the Sentry, the Apocalypse Horseman, or Horseman, what were they called? The 5 Horsemen of Death or whatever. But the Sentry guy is flying to the other foot, and then he lifts that one. And then you have Thor. He takes Jarnborn, because that's another thing that the Apocalypse Twins notice, is that the Celestial Axe is missing, and they're like, where's Jarnborn? We gotta get out of here and flee with our loot. But the Avengers have stolen it back. So Thor gets the hammer and then proceeds to cut down Exitar. Well, he doesn't cut him down. He basically just makes a wound on his neck or whatever. he says something very specific. He's like, yeah, he's like a neck wound to bleed your cosmic life blood, and so that happens, and then Sunfire and Havoc blow up the Tachyon Dam, and so it's like, all right, the day is saved. But then you have Thor is about to like teleport all the celestial energy that he just spilled out of the celestial, and then off panel there's like a word bubble that says, "You have no idea," and then it shows Kang's there, and it's like, oh, you knew it. You knew it was coming. Like the last two issues, it's like Kang's got a plan, and then everyone, like everybody, like all the Avengers, all the X-Men, everybody on the Unity team's like, dude, it's Kang. You can't effing trust that guy. And then here we go, and he just like pulls a switcheroo, and he's like, oh yeah, this is all part of my plan, and like that's why I gave you my plan, and that's why it worked. And you're no use to me anymore. Get him, Abomination Deathlock, and like this Abomination Deathlock grabs him, jumps into the celestial energies, and then we'll see what happens. But it is basically you're left to the assumption that Thor has just been killed as Abomination grabs him, jumps into the celestial energy, and they both just like burn away. So yeah, that was really cool because it's like I knew in like the last two issues I was just like, dude, I don't trust King either, and that's like all I kept thinking was like, yeah, he has a plan, but it's like at the end of the day, you just know you can't trust that dude. And so yeah, now you see he just totally like turns around and screws all the heroes. And so he's standing there where the Executioner's just been killed, the Celestial Executioner. And so now we get to see what his plan is. And it's like, okay, what's his plan? So it cuts real quick back to Avengers Tower with like Iron Man and the Avengers, and he's like, well, I can't see Thor's sensor or whatever on the thingy anymore. I don't know where he went. And then you have off panel word bubble again that says, he'll be quite dead by now, I'm afraid. And then it shows, this is really weird because it shows all the different heroes from the timeline, the Avengers, and like, but it has Doctor Doom saying that, and he's like, guess who will be joining him soon? And then you have him, and let's see, you have Madame Braddock, the May Parker, the other Iron Man, and some other dude. I forgot his name. It's in the front of the issue, whatever. So they're all like about to throw down with all the Avengers on Avengers Tower, but because Rogue stole their powers, they don't have any powers. So it's like they're just sitting there, well, I guess Tony Stark's, he's got his Iron Man suit, but it's like 1-on-5. Well, I guess Rhodey's there too, so Iron Man, War Machine, but it's 2-on-5. That we'll see what happens. But I thought that was pretty cool. So it's like basically all the heroes are there, but they have no powers, so they can't really defend themselves. And then you have Kang on the platform, and he's like spewing this monologue. It's really good though, and like you get to the third part, and he finally like says what his plan is, and he's like, "I will drink the soul of a god," and blah blah blah, all this power, blah blah blah, merge with it, blah blah blah. It's pretty good. I gotta say, it's like, I know, I like back in the day when I made that video of like, comic books, blah blah blah. It's all about plot for power, evil, blah blah blah. I gotta say though, this is pretty much like top of the list for me of like any villain plot ever. Crazy manic machinations of what am I gonna do to get here? Because it's like, I didn't see this coming. It's like I didn't expect that to happen at the end because this is like basically like before the last panel, and the last panel is just him going that I might stand king, conqueror of the universe, and then he's like getting all the power from the Celestial. So it's like, oh, did he succeed? Is he going to be a god? Who knows? To be continued. It's like really really good. Gosh, it's just like, man, Uncanny Avengers, dude. I've been saying this for a month now. Like since issue 5, I think I've been like, this is like one of my favorite books, and like this was like such a good conclusion to the Avengers of the Earth arc. But it's like it's not over, so it's like, oh, it's still like you still don't know what's gonna happen because it's like Kang has got all this power now. The Avengers are like just sitting there to be wrecked because they have no power because the Rogue took it all and stopped the Executioner, and you have the Avengers from the other timelines teaming up against the Avengers, which is weird, but maybe they're being mind controlled by Doctor Doom. I don't know, whatever. We'll see. I can't wait to see what happens next month, and yeah, unless it's the what's that called? Annual, maybe next month? I don't know, but yeah. Actually, I don't know if next month's the annual or not. I hope it's not because this is getting really good. And yeah, Uncanny Avengers, man, yet again, just killing it. Just Reminder, man, just bringing it every month. But yeah, Uncanny Avengers. That was the conclusion to the 2 years of the story so far, and it's still going. And it's like, yeah, it's not over yet, buddies. So, or it's not over yet, people. So yeah, I really enjoyed Uncanny Avengers, as you can tell from my exasperation in talking about it, or jubilation, whatever. Anyway, that was that for Uncanny Avengers number 21. I'm gonna read. Let's see what I'm gonna read next. Justice League 31. I'll read that, and then I'll give my thoughts on it after this. Alright, so I just read Justice League number 31. The beginning of the issue picks up where we left off in issue 30, where Power Ring finds its new host in Jessica Cruz, and then she's like, it's basically saying all these like weird, kind of devious things to it, or to her, like, you know, you're gonna be my puppet, and I'm gonna control you, and all this other stuff about like the fear you have in you and stuff. And like it says something about something that happened to her, how she was attacked, and she's like, nobody knows about that. But then she grabs like a shotgun and shoots it, but it still is able to like get on her, or it basically just like forces itself on her finger and proceeds to make her the new Power Ring. Then we cut to pretty good scene, Wayne Manor. Also a conclusion from something in the last issue when you had Lex Luthor show up on the door, and he's like, I know you're Batman, Bruce. And so you got them sitting down in front of a fireplace with the Wayne parents on the picture there above the fireplace. It was a great scene. And so it's like Batman's there, or I'm sorry, Bruce Wayne sitting across from Lex Luthor, and then he's all like, I don't know what you're talking about, Luthor. I'm not Batman. And like just giving him like the run of, or third degree, or whatever it's called, whatever, just run around about, I'm not Batman, blah 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 blah. And then Luthor's like, dude, okay, like the crime syndicate, the came, the wreck shop on the Justice League, and they're not good enough. So we got to make them stronger, dude. And it's going to happen regardless of if you wanted to or not. And then I think that happened later. Whatever, that might have been the second part of the conversation. But like essentially, what happens is like Bruce Wayne keeps saying like, I'm not Batman, blah blah blah. And then Luthor's like, and he's like, okay, and I got like this ballet to go to or whatever. I got a date. I'm out of here. See your way out, dude. And then there's like, yeah, I'm not leaving, dude. Clack, check, and like pulls out a gun, points it at him, and then he's like, yeah, this is about to go down. And then it's cool because they're having their whole Mexican stand down, and then like out of the corner, you have a gun come to Luthor's head, and it's like, oh, Alfred's all like, yeah, step off, dude. And so Luthor says something about like, I can feel a breeze coming from here, and like I smell a scent behind or under all this other crap there, and I know there's some sort of hidden basement cellar thing in here, and I know you're Batman, and so like a bit of a scuffle breaks out, and then he ends up shooting towards this grandfather clock that's blocking the secret passage, and so that happens, and then he's like, yeah, so let's start this conversation over. He gets up and says that. And then you have the next scene, which actually is pretty funny as well, because you have Cyborg and Shazam there, and then Shazam's like, dude, this is boring. Patrol sucks, or not patrol, but just being here looking at monitors for security is lame. Isn't there like a ping pong table or an Xbox or something? And the Cyborg's like, no, and then he's like, the other people thought you could be on the League because you have all these powers and stuff, but you got to prove yourself. And it's not always fun and games when you're in the Justice League. And then it's funny, he's like talking about how he got his power, or like how he got his powers, and he's like, I don't exactly know how they work, because the guy that gave them to me died. So let me just test them out real quick. And he's like, all right, powers of Shazam, show me what I want for the Justice League, Alakazam. And then like a bolt of lightning comes down, strikes, and then there's a ping pong table. And he's like, oh, ping pong table. Well, we might as well play since it's here. That was pretty funny. And then we cut from that to Metropolis, where Captain Cold has showed up at LexCorp because I guess Lex Luthor summoned him, and so it's pretty interesting because he like walks in and like he walks through a metal detector, and like he has this little pistol thingy that freezes stuff or whatever that is. And then the security guards are like, whoa, no weapons, dude. And he's like, hey, I'm Captain Cold or something. Oh no, 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 no. I'm sorry. Lex Luthor's secretary's there, Mercy Graves, and she's like, okay, okay, it's Captain Cold, dudes. He's cool. Let him through. And then like the reaction that the security guards like have to him after they hear that, they're like, oh, so you're the guy that helped Lex Luthor save the world from the crime syndicate, and they're all like waiting to get his autograph and take his pictures. And so he goes up into like the office or whatever, and then the secretary's like, okay, well, we got to run some tests on you, get some samples, blah blah. And he's like, oh, so you guys are gonna give me a job? And he's like, and she's like, yeah, something like that. After we do all this stuff, and he's like, well, why do you have to do this? And then she's like, oh, it's a standard procedure for LexCorp employees or whatever. But then like after he goes into like a lab or something to like get the samples, she like talks to some doctor about proceed with Operation or Project Wannabe. So we don't know what that is yet. Who knows? Some sort of who knows? I guess we'll find out later. Of course, it's Lex Luthor, so it's like always some like ulterior motive going on. And then we cut back to the other great section of the Luthor Wayne showdown. So we cut back to that, and then Lex Luthor's like, I should have known better. I always tell myself that, but there have been multiple sightings of Batman and Bruce Wayne at the same location, so that would have thrown people off. But I just followed that trail after we found out that Dick Grayson was Nightwing, and it led here, and you can't fool me, Bruce Wayne. I know you are, and I'm so super smart and stuff. And he's like, just keeps trying to persuade him to like let him have the chance to join the Justice League. And so you have Batman tell this anecdote. He's like, have you ever heard the story of the frog and the scorpion? And it's great because he like tells it, but then he puts a spin on it of like, usually it's like, the frog's like, I'm not gonna let you ride on my back across the lake because you're gonna sting me. And then like one day the frog finally lets the scorpion ride on its back, and then halfway down the river it still stings him because like it's the scorpion's like trying to get to the other side of the river. And so halfway down the river, the scorpion still stings him, and then the frog asks, why'd you sting me, dude? And the scorpion's like, well, it's my nature, dude. And so and so that's like how the story usually goes. But then Bruce Wayne's all, well, my version of the story is a bit different. A bat flies by and rips a scorpion into the sky, and then dines on it while the frog swims away. He's like, I'm not going to let you join the Justice League. Lex Luthor, alright, just give it up, dude. It's not happening. And then after that, I guess Lex Luthor like gets a tip, and he's like, whatever, dude, I'm out of here. Leaves. And then you have Superman and Wonder Woman like call in with their little communicators, like, oh, we got a power thingy Emerald Energy over here in Portland, Oregon. So that's where the new power ring is at. And then you see like the new power ring and like her constructs or whatever. They're really like beast-like and creepy looking like creatures, and they're just like eating people, and just like, yeah, it's really chaos and stuff. And then she's like, I don't know what's happening, someone help me, and then the last panel is the Doom Patrol is there, and they're like, we're here to help you, now take her down. And then it's like, to be continued. Well, it doesn't say to be continued, it says next, the battle for the ring. So yeah, that happened. I don't know who the Doom Patrol are, so that'll be new material for me, because I'm new to DC. I'm not big on them, so it's like, all this is new for me. But yeah, that happened, and there's some previews for Robin Rises and New Superman with John Romita Jr. drawing it in the end of the book. But yeah, I did very much enjoy this issue. So yeah, definitely keeping up on. I was kind of skeptic on Justice League of like if it could keep me, wanting to come back and keep reading it. But I'm definitely in for the long haul now. But the whole, Batman, the whole Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor thing, that's great. And then just the other stuff is bonus on top. So like the whole Power Ring thing, what's going on there, and. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and that's my thoughts on Justice League number 31. So I'll be coming back after this with my thoughts of Miss Marvel number 5 after reading that. Alright, I just read the last issue I'm going to cover in this video, Miss Marvel number 5, which picks up at the end of last issue where she had gone in to rescue Vic, Bruno's brother, from the inventor house, or just some. Well, we find out later that's not his like HQ, but whatever. That like I guess you find out like the inventor is like some dude, but he's not actually there at the time. So yeah. But yeah, she breaks in, and then there's all these robots around, or these really weird mini. They're not like giant robots. They're like small mini beetle-esque robots. And there's this guy there with a laser gun, and she like makes fun of his fashion. But yeah, a fight ensues, and then she's injured, and then I'm sorry, Kamala realizes that she's injured and she's kind of outmatched, and then she shrinks herself. She goes from being, embiggened, big size to, does she call it the in smaller? Oh, disembiggen. So yeah, the shrinking down, retreats home, where she's like, all right, my parents are here, or my parents didn't notice I was gone. Awesome. I'm not busted. But then she's busted. And her mom comes in and is like yelling at her. And then and then her mom tells her dad to like come in to like, straighten her out. He's like, yeah, she's just like, yeah, you take care of this. Like, I can't take it. I'm kind of hysterical and crying right now. So that happens. And then you get this cool anecdote from her dad about like why they named her Kamala and like how it means perfect in Arabic. And then she's like, why do I have to like have a weird name, and why can't I have a name like everybody else? And so that's pretty cool. But it's funny because like they're about to have like this like really, or they're having like this really emotional moment, and then like her dad goes, well, you're still grounded, and in a matter of fact, I'm going to have you meet with the Sheikh Abdul at the mosque. So yeah, and then like in her like thought bubbles are just like, thanks for ruining the moment, Dad. Jeez. But then she's like, Bruno was right. Abu was right. I should be respectful of these powers I have, and not just be some watered down version of Captain Marvel. I'm going to be a new superhero, the best version of Kamala I can be, Miss Marvel. And so she takes that inspiration, and she meets up with Bruno, and she's like, okay, dude, that weird substance you're working on for the science project or whatever, for your scholarship or something. And she's like, all right, I need that, like, in a material so I can use it as a costume. Because like when she goes to get Vic the first time, she's got like this this like really tacky costume with like a fanny pack and like a shirt, and it's just bad. It's just bad costume of like, yeah, she like made it up herself, and she's like, all right, I got a costume, but it's like not legit costume yet. And then she's talking to Bruno, and she's like, all right, well, I need to like get this costume, get to training, like get my, like there's this whole after her conversation with Bruno of like, make this costume for me out of that what was it called? I think it was called like snot or something. It's called something weird. It's like they called it something weird. And then like one of the little narration bubbles is like, time to level up. So it's like, that's another thing, like one of the things I like about this series. It's like there's a lot of like in references to like video games and like weird science fiction stuff, or just nerd stuff, because like she is like a super fan of Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, so it's like she's all like writing her fan fiction and all that stuff. But the next section is the next part's pretty cool, because there's like a whole montage of like her trying to like get her grasp on her powers. So she like gets really tall and like runs around the track, and then she's talking to, and like Bruno's there with a stopwatch, and she's like, okay, so was I faster that time? He's like, well, technically you just grew taller and walked farther strides, but yeah, you're a bit faster. And then let's see. Oh, okay. Then like he's applying the snot to the it's so weird to say that, to like the material for the costume, and he's like, okay, just remember that snot does not like water. I think he says that later on, but whatever. I can't really. Whatever. So yeah. And then she's like throwing this shopping cart with her giant hand, or embiggened hand, and like throwing it really far. And Bruno goes, that is simultaneously awesome and kind of gross. And then this part I was kind of confused, because she's like in this dumpster, or you find out she's in the dumpster, but like Bruno is there in an alley looking around, and like you can't see anything that's out of the ordinary. And then he's like, okay, I don't see you. And then she's like, boom. So I don't know if she was shrunken or if she was like transmorphing into something that like could blend into the surroundings, like, because there's a dummy next to another dummy, but then the dummy that's next to the one dummy is like tapping him on the shoulder, and he like freaks out. So maybe she can like shapeshift into like solid, not moving objects. I'm not sure. Or maybe she just shrunk down into the dumpster to where he couldn't see her. We'll see. And then like the last thing Kamala does is she shrinks down into the gerbil cage of Bruno's, and then he's about to put the hamster in, I guess to like chase her around or something. I don't know, or just to like get used. I think it's like more of her to get used to being small and not like get chased around by the hamster. But like she's in there and she's like freaking out at the giant sized gerbil poop since she's smaller, therefore the poop is bigger. So that's pretty funny. And then she's making her costume, and so yeah, and she's all like, good is not a thing you are, it's a thing you do. So that's pretty cool. And then then you get to see her costume finally with like the golden lightning bolt that we've been seeing, or that was on issue 1. So she's got her new costume, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna rescue Vic. And then she goes in super small sized, and she jumps onto one of the little drone beetle robot things. There's probably a word for that, whatever. Well, before she jumps in, like, her and Bruno have like a chat about, okay, if like something goes wrong, just like remember the emergency signal or whatever. Like call me twice on the cell phone and like hang up and I'll call the cops. And so she goes in, gets on one of the drone thingies, and then like the lasers on it are firing at the dude or one of the dudes that's like guarding Vic, and it's like pew pew pew. That's pretty funny. Let's see. And then yeah, she grows bigger, grabs Vic, and then gets super bigger, and then gets out of there. And they're like, all right, we got her. Or the day is saved, mission accomplished. And then since an issue, was it 4 or 3? I don't remember. But like when there was that incident at the Circle Q, and the store got wrecked because she came in to like try to save the robbery, and like the store is all smashed up. So like now it's been remodeled or whatever. So Bruno's coming in and he's like, man, we got all this new stuff at the store. I should have excuses to get remodels all the time. And then like they're on their way, or like he's on his way there, and then he notices there's like a crowd in front of it, and he's like, what is this? And there's like this giant Miss Marvel plushie or thing like pinned to the wall, and then like there's like a slogan that says the Birdman cometh, and then Bruno's like, is this a message? And like there's a bunch of like bystanders there too, and they're like, what is this? Who, like, for who? And then it's like a off-panel dialogue or a speech bubble, and it's like, for us. And Kamala's there, and she's like, this guy thinks he can threaten us where we live. Miss Marvel has a message for him. This is Jersey City. We talk loud, we walk fast, and we don't take any disrespect. Don't mess. And then it's funny because it like cuts to like a shot of the bystanders, and then one person's like, huh? And then the other person's like, word. So they're all just like, what? That was great. And then it, so basically like this is like the end of the issue, so it's like wrapping up here, and it cuts to some coal plant, and then you have the, what was the guy's name? I don't know the guy's name, but the guy that was holding Vic hostage with the laser gun and the drone things is like walking in to see the inventor. And then one of the henchmen there is like references him as Mr. Edison, and so does like the henchman that's like was like holding Vic hostage. He's like, Mr. Edison. So yeah, we have an issue. There's a superhuman incident that ended up with Vic getting rescued. So we got a problem. And then the inventor's like, yeah, you didn't just make a problem. You created an urban legend, and you see who the inventor is, and it's kind of weird design, but whatever. It's a yeah. It is what it is. I'm not going to spoil what it is if you haven't seen it, but yeah. And then he says, you've made an urban legend, and the legend ends now, and it's like next healing factor, and yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed Miss Marvel. Still enjoying it. So she's still. It's interesting though because like on the cover it had her looking over the river. I think that's the Hudson River to New York. So I was like, okay, so I guess this is like where she stops being in Jersey City and like goes to New York, but apparently not, because she's still like that. Towards the end, they kind of like make that a point of like she is basically step off of Jersey City because Miss Marvel's here, so that's pretty cool. So we'll see if they keep doing that, or like if they want to eventually have her step up to the big leagues. I hope they don't do that for a while. I hope they just like keep her in Jersey City for like a long time, and then before they make her like every other superhero and move her to New York, because too many superheroes in New York. Just saying. But yeah, everything was pretty good this week. Or well, actually, I haven't read my other books from last week. So what was last week? Jeez, I don't know. But oh my gosh. I know I read Saga from last week. That was really good. I haven't read from last week, the only thing I have left to read, I think, is New Avengers. That's it, yeah. Because last week I picked up Justice League, Saga, Uncanny Avengers, New Avengers, and Miss Marvel. So I just need to read New Avengers, and I'm all caught up from last week. And then I'm done with this video, and I'll be making my thoughts on The Punisher and the first 3 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man if you want to get into that. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share it with your friends. Or not, that's cool too. And until you see or hear from me again, thanks for watching and listening, and I'm now signing off.